Welcome back to the Country Club in Brookline. We're in the very understated but comfortable men's locker room here, whose walls are filled with the history of American golf. Julius Boris and the 1963 story back there, Lawson Little, and of course the Ouimet, Varden, and Ray's story, very well documented. Here's a picture you don't often see of that occasion, a very happy Francis Ouimet with the horseshoe, and basking in the reflected glory, Eddie Lowry, his caddy, and all of Francis's friends. And here is Jess Sweetser, who won the United States Amateur Championship at the Country Club in 1922, and on the way gave Bob Jones, that great golfing hero, one of the worst defeats of his career. Now, let's find out what today's players think about playing the U.S. Open here at the Country Club.
It's hard to believe it's been a year already since I won. It's gone by quick. But the club is, I had a chance to go around and see it, and I think it's going to be a great open course. It's the old-style course. You can run it up on a lot of the long holes, which I like. It's playable. At the same time, it's really difficult. Can't go over any of the greens is the key point I remember.
To me, it's like all old golf courses. You know, your golf won't start until you get to the back nine. You know, your 10th, 11th, 12th holes. You know, I think that's what's so great about the older courses. You know, they kind of tease you on the front nine with some easy golf holes, and all of a sudden, after you get just a little mentally tired, it's time to play golf. You have to kind of bristle up. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a great golf course, a great tournament, a great challenge for the players.
Wish I had gotten up there sometime in the past to have played there, but I have not been there. So in preparation of the Open, I'm going to take the week off before and probably go up there early and get in some extra rounds.
Well, I'm going to try to get up there and at least play one round before the week of the tournament, and then I'll come in Sunday night and play the three practice rounds on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and just try to spend as much time as I can on the golf course those 3 days. I've read as much as I can find on the golf course. The only problem is that most of the material that's written about Brookline is based on 1963, 25 years ago, and the golf course was not in its peak condition at that time, and certainly times have changed, and the players have gotten longer and stronger, and I'm sure the USGA will have a adventuresome test waiting for us.
I heard that it was a golf course you need to be familiar with, and I'm going to change my routine going into the majors because last year at the British Open I showed up later than I wanted to, but I think that was a blessing. I wasn't there too early. I think last year at the U.S. Open I showed up too early, and I really peaked too early. This year at the Masters, I peaked too early, and I played bad at both last year's U.S. Open and this year's Masters. So what I'm going to do is play it early this year, and then I'm going to go in on Tuesday and play it on Tuesday and Wednesday. I've been getting in Sunday afternoon and playing it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and by the time Wednesday rolls along, you know, I don't know what to do. So I'm going to change my routine. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to getting it.
I'm going there expecting fairways not to be very wide, the rough to be quite high, and the greens to be small and firm and fast.
Being such a great golf course as we hear from all the players who have, I have a lot of good feeling going into it. Everything I've heard, I like. Small greens, drive it good, you know, got to think. It seems to fit my golf game, so I'm very enthusiastic about going up there. But I have not played it, and it's just because there hadn't been a tournament there over the years.
Well, Jack, here we are in the 18th fairway, where somebody on Sunday afternoon may be, with this approach shot to the green to win or to keep from losing the United States Open. What kind of a shot does he have?
Well, Jack, the 18th hole here is a very difficult par 4. It's into the prevailing wind, 438 yards. You have a deep bunker in front of the green. The green is not a deep green. It's difficult to recover on either side. They've given us a generous fairway here at the 18th hole, as they have in most of the par 4s. The USGA has realized that we have many long par 4s in this golf course, so they've been very fair in setting up the golf course, and that I applaud them for. Now, with this shot, I've got probably a 4-iron into the prevailing wind, but if you miss the fairway by just a yard or two, you end up over here in typical U.S. Open rough. What can you do from typical U.S. Open rough? Well, obviously, from 180 yards out of high rough into the green over a bunker, you're not going to get it on the green. You're going to hit stand here. You're going to take a shot. You're going to hit it offline into other high rough. You may just put it anywhere. The smart shot from this rough is to put the ball out into the fairway, give yourself a chance to put it on the green and not make any more than 5, but give yourself a chance to make 4. And that's going to take patience, and you're going to need patience on all these long par fours. Now, if you're lucky enough to drive it in the fairway, you're left with a 4-iron, probably here, and you will probably want to carry the ball over that bunker and try to have it land softly on the green.
Oh, that looks perfect.
Oh, I'll take that on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, I bet you would. Let's go up and putt that one out. And then we'll be back with some closing remarks.
Some people move up in the world a little faster than others. Maybe it's because they know what's waiting for them when they get to the top. A luxury car. One of the big three. Lincoln Continental, Lincoln Mark 7, or Lincoln Town Car. Anything less isn't worth the climb. Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
As the years go by, I know I'll always have a friend. Just as long as you stand by me.
For over 100 years, friendships have been formed and kept over the quality beers of Anheuser-Busch.
Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
We are sitting on the veranda of the country club overlooking the 18th green. A lovely setting, but this lovely setting 25 years ago, Jack, produced one of the highest U.S. Open scores in history, 9 over. Do you look for something like that this year?
I don't think we're going to be quite 9 over, Jack. I think the scores are going to be high. As I said before, I think par is going to be a precious commodity. Somebody's going to have to play awfully well to break par. It's a difficult golf course. It's one that's going to require a lot of patience.
Is that the kind of player that's going to win here, do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be a patient player and probably a player with a lot of experience. I think we have a lot of young players who have never seen a golf course like this. They've never seen conditions like this. You're going to hear a lot of complaining and grousing that it's not fair, that it's, blind shots, all those kind of things. But they don't realize that this is the kind of golf that was played in this country and abroad 50 years ago everywhere. All the golf courses were like this. So they're going back and playing in a sort of bit of past history. They're going back to the old times and playing a golf course, and they're going to have to learn to adjust the golf games to it. That's sort of why I think a player that is very patient, very experienced, but also one, because of the 9 par 4s over 430 yards, I think the player is going to have to be relatively strong. A fella such as a Sandy Lyle or a Seve Ballesteros or a Greg Norman, fellas who can hit the ball in the rough and will occasionally be able to get the ball to the green out of the rough. Somebody who's not strong is going to be playing a wedge all day long if he misses the fairway. Now, obviously, you go back and look at U.S. Open players. It's usually the Hale Irwins, the Lanny Watkins, the Curtis Strangers, the fellas who can hit the ball straight, keep the ball in play, are good around the green. Those players will do fine, too. But I think you have a little bit of extra things that might happen here at the country club, and that's the strength is needed, but that little bit of patience to, when you're there over par, you accept the fact that you're over par, and you accept the fact that you're not going to birdie every hole, and you just keep on playing and keep on plotting, and all of a sudden when the tournament ends, you might shoot 1 or 2 over par, and you say, hey, I'm the U.S. Open champion.
Jack, you've made mention of the fact that the country club has a different configuration than most courses. 2 par 5s, 3 par 3s. Will this have any effect mentally on the players?
Well, Jack, having so many par 4s, it makes it very awkward. The pace of playing the golf course, such as an example of 10, 11, 12, and 13, are 4 long par 4s in a row. And a fella feels as though if he makes a bogey, he doesn't have any place to recover, and he loses his patience. So it's very awkward from that standpoint. And I think that a lot of the American players really are not used to that.
You mentioned in your top 3 all foreign players, which is becoming a way of life lately, it seems. Of our American players, however, who do you like?
Well, I think we've got a lot of good American players, a lot with a chance to win. But I think Lanny Watkins has probably been playing the best golf and sort of just sneaking up on it just very quietly, Jack, and I look for him to do very well here.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. We hope you'll all join us for coverage of this year's United States Open Golf Championship. The telecast will begin on Thursday, June 16th on ESPN, 1 to 3 and 5 to 7. Then on Thursday evening, the highlight show on ABC at 11:30. On Friday, June 17th on ESPN, 1 to 3 in the afternoon and 5 to 7 in the evening once again. And the highlight show on ABC on Friday evening at 11:30. Then on Saturday, June 18th on ABC, we begin 18-hole coverage of the third round at 1:30. And on Sunday, June 19th, Father's Day, we'll have 18-hole coverage of the final round, 4.5 hours, beginning at 2 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. We hope you will all join us. For Jack Nicklaus, this is Jack Whitaker saying so long from the Country Club in Brookline, Massachusetts. The United States Open Preview Show, this ABC Sports exclusive, has been brought to you by Lincoln, what a luxury car should be, and by USF&G. USF&G covers the USA. The executive producer of the U.S. Open Preview Show, Jeffrey Mason. Produced and directed by Terry Jastrow. Associate Director, Jack Graham. Unit Manager, Ed McKenna. Assistant to the producer, Jim Ressler. Coming up next, ABC's Professional Boxing Junior Middleweight Fights at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific.